Scaredy Cat. Have a scary chat. Scaredy Cat with Rob and Ash.
Welcome back to Scaredy Cat. I am Robbie.
And I'm Ash.
And this is the podcast where one person who loves horror films
And someone else who hates them.
watch them so you don't have to.
How are you, Rob?
I'm good. How are you, Ash?
I'm good. How was your day?
It's short. What's
Yeah?
yours? Yours is pretty long.
Mine was fucking insane. I did a thing today.
You're very creative today.
I guess I was. It was a creative emergency. We'll call it that. And it turns out I'm good at those, which is fun.
So, this week, we're going to be kind of cheating.
We're not cheaters. We follow the rules from Monopoly, which literally no one does.
This is a film we actually saw in theaters.
Did we see this in theaters? This is before we were married, before we had children.
Yes, back when we still did things.
Yeah.
We're going to do High Tension from 2003.
I love this movie.
We went to this one as like a legit date.
Did we?
Mm-hmm.
Man, you were something.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I really don't know.
But I was going to ask if you remember going to see it.
I remember the movie. I do not remember any circumstance. You were wearing jeans.
Jeans?
And a t-shirt. Baby, when we were in high school, you used to wear jeans all the time. That's all you ever wore.
Man, I can't remember a time before I wore just athletic shorts.
Probably those slipper sandals that you always wore. With or without socks.
Slipper sandals.
Because you were the only person I know that can pull off wearing socks with sandals.
I don't remember what theater it is, so I'm going to guess it was the one in...
I'm going to go AMC Arlington because that's where we saw everything.
No, that's not true.
Yeah?
Buffalo Hills.
Ugh.
Especially in 2003.
I don't know.
The stadium seating. Boom.
Oh my god.
They had stadium seating. It was...
They had just gotten it in
Mm-hmm.
only 2 of the theaters. Or 2 of the
Yeah, and they built it
rooms.
onto the side.
Yeah, it's
Every
silly.
other theater was shitty.
That one was pretty shitty also.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was, but every theater was shitty back then.
I don't know. I don't remember going to see very many movies with you in Buffalo Creek. I'm pretty sure we would have gone to AMC Arlington because...
I can think of 3 right offhand.
What?
Dreamcatcher.
That was the last one that we ever saw there.
High Tension. I think we saw it
I
there.
don't think we did.
No, I can only think of one. That's right.
No, I'm pretty sure we saw it at AMC because we used to go up there all the time. We basically lived there. And a couple of months later, we did actually live in Arlington, not at the movie
At the
theater.
AMC, we lived.
We lived
in between the
we brought
stadiums.
a double sleeping bag and we just hid in the closet.
We were up in the loft.
the Usher B area.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Do you remember the movie?
I do remember the movie.
So tell me what happens in the movie.
Fuck, man. All I remember is a chick in a truck with a bat. Like, not a truck, but like a covered, like a furniture truck or whatever. And I remember that the girl had really short hair and she was very attractive.
Well, we'll see because we'll watch it. But
Can I tell you what I would think it was about had I not ever seen it?
Sure.
So it's obviously about tightrope walkers. About some tightrope walker that maybe is under a lot of stress because they've got a difficult job situation, or maybe they have a shitty ex and their kid's being a dick.
It strikes me as like one of the later Jack Nicholson films.
High Tension?
If I didn't think it was
Like it was the follow-up to As Good as It Gets?
Anger Management.
Full confession, favorite Jack Nicholson movie of all time, As Good as It Gets. It's amazing. It's
Something's gotta
incredibly
give.
homophobic
I
and
felt
horrible.
like something's got to give is like the spiritual successor to that film.
Oh, the one with Diane Keaton?
Yeah,
I love Diane Keaton. She's such a neat lady.
but
Interesting.
she's not in this.
She's not. Wouldn't it be interesting if she were, though?
If she was the main character,
Yeah, I think she would look really cool with short hair and a bat in the back of a truck. That's honestly all I remember. I think I merge in my head scenes from High Tension and Jeepers Creepers. Because I feel like we saw them around the same time. No. Jeepers Creepers 2 with the flying thingies. I merged those two films.
With the flying thingies.
Yeah, in Jeepers Creepers 2, remember they were in the bus, in the kid,
Mm-hmm. I remember the scene, yes.
and then...
We'll save that for that episode.
But they fly. The monster things,
There's
fly.
only one monster.
Well, whatever.
In any of the Jeepers Creepers. And he always flies.
Oh, it always flies?
Yeah, and number 1 he flies, number 2 he flies, I'm pretty sure it's number 3.
Well, fuck, what am I thinking about then?
I don't know.
Jeepers Creepers, the first
You're
one.
thinking about the Wizard of Oz.
No, I'm not.
With the monkeys that fly.
No, I'm also merging Jeepers Creepers 1 with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake.
Nobody flies in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Nobody does. Wouldn't that be...
If Leatherhead could fly, that'd be some shit.
That would be crazy. Maybe we should make a film.
That should be the next sequel where Leatherhead flies.
Maybe we should do it.
It's like if they merged Tremors with Leatherhead.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should. We should put that in our ultimate haunted house that we've been talking about for years. Have we talked about that before?
I think we started to at one point, but I'm not sure we talked about much of it. One day we'll build a multi-level haunted house.
We'll scare the fuck out of you because it'll be all my worst fears.
Or it'll be the biggest waste of money of all time.
I don't think so. I think this is what we should do. If we ever find out that we're ill and we're going to die or whatever, after like one of our modeling careers takes off or something.
We'll put ourselves on display inside the haunted house.
No.
It'll be the piece de resistance at the very end.
If we ever have money, ever, we can't let our kids have it because it will ruin them. They'll become assholes. So to protect them, to save them from themselves, if we ever get sick and we, decide to die or whatever. If we decide.
We get the choice.
Yes, that's how it works. Then I say we just spend all the money, like before we die.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. I'm going to buy the world's largest collection of chiclets.
I still think that's silly. You should buy 1 billion Sharpies so you can leave a mark on the world. Or we could build this insane haunted house and then straddle our children with the crippling debt afterwards.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Let's do it.
Force them to either run it or go bankrupt.
I think it'll bring them closer together.
No, they probably hate each other.
Probably, but it'll bring them closer together.
But I won't care because I'll be dead.
Right. All we want, I don't care if they hate each other, even if they decide to, like, burn it down, at least they'll make the decision together. It'll be, like, cathartic and shit.
There's money in the banana stand.
Always.
There's always money in the banana stand. All right, so we're going to take a watch.
Take a watch.
And then we'll come back. All right, we're back. That was High Tension from 2003. We've seen it before.
Yes.
But how much of it had you forgotten?
Most of it.
Pretty much all of it.
I mean, I remember the fact that there is a pretty significant plot twist at the end.
Again, because we've seen the movie before, and we had the same thoughts the first time we saw it.
Did we?
Which were, how is that possible knowing what we know at the end?
True.
This whole time we watched it going, it's still not possible knowing what we know at the end.
So just in case anybody is joining us for the first time, this is going to contain
lots of spoilers.
All the spoilers. We're going to ruin the whole movie for you.
And our dog will be scratching himself throughout the whole thing. He has a cone on right now.
And he hates it. And
because he's gone through 3 surgeries. And he's ripped out stitches twice.
Because he's obnoxious.
He's an asshole.
Well, he's self-destructive at this point. So, if anybody's joining us for the first time, just keep in mind that we're going to tell you what happens. So if that matters to you, if that will upset you, go watch it now.
And we'll wait.
And then come back. Where did we watch this?
We ordered it through Amazon.
Yes. Or be a good Samaritan and go to your local video store.
If you have a video store close to you, yes.
Go there.
If we had one close by, we would
totally
do it every time.
Go rent a DVD.
Although we don't have a DVD player.
Go buy a DVD player, rent a DVD, and watch it there if you're so inclined to do so.
We should go rent the DVD and then stare at the disc.
You know what's funny? When I worked in a movie store, it was when DVDs were first, kind of coming out, getting kind of big. And my boss, the guy that ran the DVD, or the movie store, kind of an old pervy dude, really, really thought that DVDs were just not going to take off. It just wasn't a platform that people were going to get into. So he would just order random DVDs.
Well, if you think about it from the perspective of a movie store owner, you've seen Betamax, Laserdisc, High 8 come and go.
True.
And only one stayed, and that was VHS.
True. So he would order random DVDs. We had a DVD wall. They were not arranged in any particular order. It was just all up on the wall, which used to drive you crazy when you'd come in to visit me at work.
Yeah.
Because really, you should have worked there.
It's not a genre. DVD was not a genre.
It was.
But they treated it like one.
It was in 2003. So we had a kind of a middle-aged gentleman who was a particular dickhead. He rented a DVD, took it home. He came back the next day, and he was kind of cross because he said that the DVD would not work in his VCR. And we said, well, if you put it on your finger, shiny side up, and spin it real fast, it projects the movie on the ceiling. He goes, oh. He snaps the DVD case closed and marches out the door.
Never to be seen again.
Because the DVD
cut his face off.
Spun too fast.
Chopped through his finger, sliced through the air, into his neck. Pulsating vein, just...
Needle death, he was dead.
The end. Now, pop quiz.
Yes.
Do you know what VHS stands for?
Video home system.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly it. I'm impressed.
You shouldn't be. I took a class on video production when I was in college.
Okay.
So I really should have known that right off the bat.
Then what about DVD?
Digital video distribution.
No. Now it can be digital video disc with a C, because anything with a K was a hard medium, like a floppy disk.
Okay.
If you had it with a C, then it's an optical medium.
Okay.
But it stands for digital versatile disc.
Oh.
Gee whiz information for you. That's where we saw it, the movie.
Right.
Okay, so yeah. So let's jump into the characters from this film.
Okay.
We had Marie, played by Cécile de France.
Marie is our main character.
She's our short-haired heroine, somewhat.
Heroine/villain.
Anti-hero.
I still maintain that she's the hero/villain of the film. She's
definitely.
She's both things. Is that what anti-hero means?
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm dumb. Sorry.
No, it's not dumb.
You know, do you ever, side story, when you do crossword puzzles, do you do crossword puzzles often?
On planes, I have a big book of them.
I never feel more dumb than when I'm trying to complete a crossword puzzle. Because they've got all those weird, like, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. And it's like every time I sit down and try and do one, it's like, I don't know enough words.
I understand the feeling.
Is that just me?
I use my phone a lot when I do crossword puzzles.
Is that cheating, though?
Fuck no. Who's going to get me? The crossword police?
No. But I mean, it's an honor system.
Yeah, I don't have any honor.
You have no crossword honor.
I have no honor. So she's our main character.
Yes.
Alexia, her friend, played by May Wynn.
I thought her name was just Alex. They just called her Alex all the way through.
Yeah, well,
which
Alexia
is weird
was a
because it's my
pronoun.
brother's name, so I kept thinking, I should call my brother.
So Alexia or Alex, played by Majwin.
She is an American whose family had just bought a farm in France, and they had just moved there. She's a college student. She's friends with Marie. They were driving in from university to her family's place in the country to study.
And then you have the killer, played by Philippe Neon.
Did you notice about that particular character? He's supposed to be like this super rugged dude, right? Like he kind of
He's got dirty fingernails.
Kind of lives in his truck, but his hands are super soft. He didn't have any calluses. He didn't have any like your hands look like you work with your hands.
I'm looking at my hands, trying to figure out how they
They look like you have like
I look like I bite my nails.
which you shouldn't do.
I don't bite my nails, but I pick at the like
At your cuticles?
the cuticles, yeah.
Oh, don't do that.
That's what I do. That's my thing.
Don't do that. But
It's-
no, like you worked with your hands.
Yeah. Maybe he's a hand model on the side.
Maybe at night he puts like
maybe-
lotion on his hands and then puts them in gloves.
And maybe
sleeps like that.
Maybe that's why he had the dirty cute fingernails. They were like, well, we have to rough up your hands a little bit. Here, just dig through the dirt real quick. So he had the dirty fingernails.
Maybe he does like hand fetish porn. Have you ever seen that stuff where like I've seen it with feet, not so much with hands, but where they like take people with like weird looking feet and they like put their feet in weird gross things, like in like baked beans.
Wait, why do you think they have to be weird looking feet?
I'm sorry, excuse me. Unconventionally attractive
I don't
feet.
think the feet matter. It's what the feet are doing.
Maybe it's just the only time I've ever seen it was on King of the Hill, and Peggy.
It's with Peggy.
Peggy
With
has
her
large
giant feet.
We've had so many discussions today.
You pulled too much of your knowledge from King of the Hill.
Well, hey, that's how I knew that Jimmy Carter was involved with Habitat for Humanity. We
But
had this discussion earlier today.
But you thought that he invented Habitat for Humanity.
No, I had an inkling, but I knew that he was definitely heavily involved in it.
I am not going to go out on a limb and say that he had soft hands because I didn't notice the soft hand. The only thing that really stuck out to me was the dirty fingernails.
I did. He had like soft hands and like a soft face. It was really weird.
It did not have a soft face.
He did. He looked like a person that needed a beard.
This is not going to turn into like ugly shaming people.
No, I'm not saying he was ugly. Just saying like,
You told him to hide his face.
no, that's not true.
You just said that.
No, beards don't hide your face. They
Yeah,
just
maybe just a paper bag, just a whole paper
That's
bag.
not what I said.
Holes cut out for
maybe
eyes.
a beard-shaped paper bag. Maybe.
So we have our two girls and a killer, and that's really the only people
Well,
other than the parents for a little bit and the gas
so
station attendant.
when they first get to the house, we meet mom.
Wait, let's back up. We're not there yet. What the movie starts off on feet.
Okay, a lot of feet.
A lot of feet shots. This is
lot of
almost
this-
Tarantino level of feet.
A lot of this shit happens barefoot, which
It's-
is troubling.
It
Did
starts
you say
off.
Tarantino levels of feet?
Yeah.
When I was pregnant, we lived in a garage apartment that only got 3 channels. And one of them showed Tyra Banks' old talk show in the afternoons. Don't judge me. I was pregnant, I was studying, I was in college, and I needed a break, so I watched a lot of Tyra. Tyra has a lot of emotional problems that she tried to take out on her guests. But anyways, the weirdest interview I ever saw her do was with Quentin Tarantino, in which she reveals to her viewers that he has a foot fetish, and then she tells him that she got a pedicure just for him. And she whips out her feet, and then he just like rubs them for a few minutes. It is the most awkward thing on the face of the planet, and I don't know if I lost or gained respect for Quentin Tarantino that day. I don't know.
I do know that Quentin Tarantino has a huge thing with feet. You can see it in all of his movies. He shows Uma Thurman's feet the most of anybody's.
Well, Uma Thurman is like a goddess. She's like statuesque. What is she, like 6 feet tall?
Pulp Fiction. You see her feet in Kill Bill. You see her feet in Kill Bill Volume 2. What else?
think that's
It
all
played a
she's in
big
of
part.
his.
It played a big part in Death Proof.
Oh, that's right.
Because who is that has her feet out the window?
Uh
Rosario Dawson.
oh, I love Rosario Dawson.
So Rosario Dawson has her feet out the window, and Kurt Russell's character, Killer Mike. No, it wasn't Killer
Wait,
Mike. It was,
wait. We shouldn't ruin this.
Mike
for
the
people.
Stuntman.
Sure. We shouldn't ruin Death Proof for people, though, because that was the one half of that double feature that was truly worth the effort.
Yeah, we'll have to do that one some point.
We
Anyway,
would.
so Quentin Tarantino has a huge thing with feet. He shows them in all his movies,
Yeah, that's an aside.
and this movie shows that level of feet.
I don't know. I mean, we see them
There's
at
like
the
7
beginning.
shots. You see it at the beginning. You see it at the next scene when they're at the house. I think her being barefoot was him trying to build the tension of like how vulnerable she was.
High tension,
Maybe
you think?
to a higher degree.
To a higher degree of tension?
You got it, yeah.
Like wound a little tight, like barbed wire around a wooden pole tight.
Yeah.
High tension. That went on for too long.
You see, she's in a hospital gown on a hospital bed,
Yes.
and she's whispering to herself in a very like psycho-esque. This is my inner monologue.
Really hitting it home that this is gonna be a psycho chick right off the bat. She's saying, "I won't let anyone come between us anymore." Over and over and over and over again.
Actually, I want to back up a bit.
Okay, let's back up.
I want to talk about the production logos.
Okay.
When you grow up watching VHS tapes and you watch a lot of horror films like I have, you see a lot of vanity cards. A lot of them. And you get to know them by like the first frame. Like you hear the music or musical cue, or you see the first frame and you can tell exactly what this is going to be and you can yell it out.
I get that with Touchstone, like
New Line, Touchstone, New Line they always do the 2.
yeah.
Like it's the house flies in and it builds and they do it again immediately.
Touchstone always reminds me of the Three Ninjas.
Yeah. And this one has one of my favorites. It's the Europa Corporation.
Which when we were watching it, you yelled, Europtopia!
Europtopia. Water Fairy. It starts off with a dolphin, and then the dolphin turns into like a shape, and then the shape becomes a water fairy and throws itself out, and it has this like over beautiful like water fairy on the front of it. And when you watch a horror film, which is like the goriest, nastiest thing, it's almost like a fuck you to the film to have this water fairy, this gorgeous water fairy at the beginning with this like upbeat tone of music to it. But I didn't know that we have Luc Besson, one of my favorite directors, to thank for Europa Corporation. He's the director of The Fifth Element.
You do love him, yeah.
And Run, Lola, Run, the Taken series. Remember that one film he did, the Angel one? And we watched it with Matt and Courtney.
Man, I don't remember this at all.
Anyway, so Luc Besson is one of my favorite directors.
Matt and Courtney, though, also, hello. Hi, guys. Matt and Courtney are friends of ours from 1,012 years ago. Courtney is, I believe she's almost finished getting her certification to be a teacher, which is really fucking cool. And then Matt is a prolific writer. I think he writes mainly in like horror stories and stuff.
You can buy his books on Amazon. The first one he did was Dead Dogs, which I have a copy of.
Right. And we're actually going to have Matt on a very special episode when we go home to Texas this summer, too, which will be really fun. He's pretty funny.
So he's written 2 books available on Amazon. It's under the name M.A. Rushing. It's Dead Dogs and It's Getting Dark.
He's going to be on a special episode this summer whenever we go home to Texas.
Yeah.
Back to the homeland.
And we're going to be covering a movie that we know very well.
Well, I've actually never seen it.
No, the 2 of us, like me and Matt.
The 2 of you.
We used to watch it all the time.
I don't even need to be there.
We could quote it. So anyway, Europa Corporation. If you haven't seen the title card, just Google it. You'll see it. Now we can jump back into where we were and talk about the title cards. So the title cards in this movie, it uses a strobe light with the title, with the text intercut with scenes of her running through the woods, of Marie running through the woods.
We're running, we're bleeding.
And then we have like scratchy noise effect.
And there was I actually asked you to turn it down at this point. There's like a high-pitched like whine
screeching
noise.
Almost like staticky noise.
I don't like it.
It was a quick epilepsy test before we get into the movie. The title sequence ends with her running up to a car and screaming at the driver for him to help her.
Right.
Which is our first clue that she's a unreliable narrator. Because later on you find out it's not her, it's her friend.
It's so confusing. I don't know. Maybe we're not smart enough.
We'll talk about it at the end.
Maybe
let's wait till we get there.
Maybe this is like an Antichrist situation, right? And we're just like not smart enough to get it. I will fully accept that if someone can explain to me how the fuck this is possible, I will accept the fact that I am not smart enough to get it.
So we cut from that to her waking up
in the back of a
car that has the worst balanced tires I've ever seen.
Our driver is having to correct a lot.
They look like they are on a boat.
It's kind of like whenever you pretend like you're driving, like when you're a little kid and you turn the wheel like a lot too much.
And you're bouncing up and down in the seat. It's more like when you pretend you're Santa Claus and you're in a sleigh and you're going along with the Prancer and Dancer and Comet and Cupid, Blitzen and Vixen and Donner and Dancer.
What's happening?
I don't remember the reindeer. I thought I could get through them all and be really cool, but I couldn't.
No, you're not in charge of Christmas.
So then we find out that they're on their way to her house, to Marie's house.
Mm-hmm.
No, to Alex's house.
Right.
Where they're going to spend Christmas break, maybe summer break.
I think they're just there to study. That's what Alex
she says they're there
keeps
to
saying.
Study.
We're not there to party. We're there to study.
Alex's family is American.
Right. In the car, Marie is kind of chastising Alex for leaving her alone for a couple of hours the night before when Alex went and presumably fucked a dude. And it's pretty obvious from the get that Marie is in love with Alex.
Yes.
I mean, it is blatant. It is not hidden. This is not a surprise to anyone but Alex.
Here's another problem I had with this film. Did it seem like this is something that should have manifested itself much sooner since they have a relationship?
Yes.
Like, why would it wait till now?
Well,
they've obviously known each other for a very long time.
Maybe this was a critique on the friend zone. Like she'd just been there for so long that she just snapped and lost her fucking gourd. And turned into...
Well, she's just not that into you.
She's not into you at all. She likes dick. Get over it. Like, we're done.
Some girls do.
Some girls like penis. Other girls don't. Some girls like that and other things. But if someone tells you, or someone is, like, not interested in you, move the fuck on. You don't need to murder people.
I also think that there's a shot where you see her hand on the window, and she has, like, 3-4 rings on.
Who? Marie?
Marie. And she's got a thumb ring that's like a black giant, like, man's ring. And I think, if you look really closely at the killer's hands, I think he has that same ring on.
I was just paying too much attention to how soft his hands looked.
And
like, not in a good way. Like,
so it was kind of like a winky hint at what was going on. But they're driving along, and Marie spots something in the cornfield. So she goes off to investigate.
She stops, jumps out of the car.
If this happened to me, it would be like, I saw motion in the cornfield. Lock the doors and keep going. That's how that would play out.
Yes. Probably
at a much quicker pace than I was going before. But she decides she wants to go investigate. She's gone too long. And then Alex saw the thing in the cornfield. She goes to investigate. Yes. Marie goes after her, and she finds out that Alex was just playing with her. She's in the car, now driving away. Was she just, like, hiding behind the car, or did she actually hear something?
No, she didn't actually hear something.
You don't think so? You think she was just playing with her?
No, she was playing a joke on her.
So you think she was just playing with her?
Yes, that was 100% premeditated. Okay.
Before that scene happens, we jump to our first case of how the fuck does this happen? Where we see a beat-up old... You called it a Jeepers Creepers truck.
It's very similar.
It's basically Be Eating You is the license plate on this thing.
Yes. I'm going to chop off your neck.
And there's
just your neck. I'm going to leave your head. I'm going to leave everything else alone, but I'm going to chop off your neck.
I just want the slice. Just the slice
just
of neck.
That one little sliver. That's all I want.
When I go to restaurants, I ask for neck slice. Keep in mind, they are literally driving in a car.
Yes, they're on the road.
They're in some other place.
Together.
We have a scene where you see this truck that says, like, it's the Be Eating You truck. And behind the wheel is a shadowy figure who's...
getting a blowjob.
In the audio you hear is, like, children playing in the background.
Right.
But he finishes what he's doing, and he dumps a severed head out the window and drives off. This is our killer.
Which, like, why dispose of it? Why not keep it for later? You're gonna need a blowy later, too.
Maybe you only get so many blows. Maybe that was like the final blow of that one.
Oh, you think she'd like reached her limit?
Yeah, maybe that was like 2 weeks out.
That's just a
Because
stink.
everybody knows, common knowledge, 2 weeks is as long as you can keep a severed head in your car before it starts to
for
stink.
blowjobs
Right.
specifically.
You might need an air freshener after that point.
The more you know. 2 weeks, really?
Yeah, I'm assuming.
It seemed hot, like the summer.
It's France. They're stinky to begin with.
I say 3 days. Robert, that is not true.
I don't know if that's true or not.
That's not true at all.
That's a
That's
stereotype.
rude. That's rude.
Since we're going to jump into stereotypes, they also don't shave their under armpits.
That's very American of you.
They believe in lots of baguettes.
Baguettes,
They
like bread.
They like baguettes.
That's so weird.
They wear berets, all of them.
No, they don't.
Oh,
And
what
they eat
else?
macaroons. None of that stuff is true.
And their waiters are all jerks.
That's not true.
All of these things are true.
There are a lot of really nice French people.
So
You just sounded like Buzz from Home Alone when he was like, "Is it true that
They
French
don't
girls
shave their
don't shave their
pits?"
pits?" I don't think so. Yeah, but they got nude beaches.
Yeah, but
Not
it's
so much in the
winter.
winter. Now that we've reenacted.
oh
Home
goodness.
Alone for
So they go off to they arrive at her house.
Yes.
And they meet her dad. Her mom is absent from the scene. She's only like
I think her mom was
you
like
only
asleep.
hear her. Well, you hear her in the background. Like she's like, "Is that you, Marie?"
Well, before they got there,
Is that you, Alex? I keep getting switched.
Yeah, before they got there, though, we met the mom. She was outside hanging laundry on the line, and we met Tom, Alex's little brother.
Oh, that's right.
Tom
Well-
is adorable.
We don't meet them so much as we see them.
Well, I
Like
mean, we get
Alex
a little
and
bit
Marie
of...
don't interact with them at that point.
No. But we see Tom, and he's dressed up like a cowboy.
He's wearing cowboy garb all the time. He's got his little 6-shooter in his pocket. And
It's so cute.
he's going around. Now, do you think, because nobody in this film was actually American, do you think that was what they thought an American child would be wearing? Like,
Probably.
if you grew up watching,
Because when we've gone out of the United States, that's kind of what people expect from us.
especially when they find out we're from Texas.
Right. They ask us where our horse is.
Of course, that happens in the United States itself too.
True. Just for fuck's sake. People from Texas, most of us don't have horses. Most of us live in the fucking city.
Most people in Texas do have cowboy hats at some point,
Yes.
and a lot of them get boots.
It's a traditional thing.
My family didn't, but yours did.
Yours isn't.
Mine was a transplant.
They're
We've already talked
transplants.
about this.
It's different.
I'm an anchor, baby. We've got that sorted out. I never had cowboy boots. I never had a cowboy hat, but you had both things.
Right, because my family is like 100th generation Texas.
And your family got our kids both things.
Right.
Well, so, that night, after showing her around the house, Marie decides she wants to masturbate.
No. Wrong one.
No, Marie's the one. Marie's our character.
Oh, you're right.
Alex
I'm sorry,
is
I'm
the-
a dick.
Okay. So Alex shows Marie around. Marie goes to her room, and without knowing for sure that nobody else is going to come in there, also puts in her earbuds so she couldn't have possibly heard somebody like knocking to come in the room,
Right.
starts masturbating.
On top of the covers.
On top of the cover.
With
Get
her
under the
jeans
covers.
on.
Get under the covers and do that.
Take off your jeans. You can't sleep in jeans.
While she's masturbating is when our Jeepers Creepers mobile shows up and is outside the house waiting.
Yes.
And he just waits.
Do you think this is symbolism, perhaps?
I think so. I think with what we find out later on the film,
This is another impossible scenario, though. I mean, but unless she's hallucinating a ton of shit.
but at least they're in the same place this time.
True. I guess, fine.
But once you find out what the end is, again, it makes no sense. And also,
None
it
of
takes
does.
on a second view, it takes all the suspense out of the scene because you know what the end is.
Well, right. Yeah, this is not a movie that you can watch twice. It's kind of like,
Not
Like-
unless you just really want to get upset about how
Like,
impossible the
it's
plot
like
is.
any M. Night Shyamalan movie. Like, you cannot watch it twice because once the hook is gone, there's nothing, and it's just weird.
I will disagree.
Please do.
Let's take the good one, The Sixth Sense.
Which I just remembered the name of for you. You're welcome.
It was tough. You can watch it again because when you find out the twist at the end, going back to watch it, you're like, man, I missed that.
Right, because it's done well.
But this one, you go back and you're like, I missed that because you told me that wasn't the case.
Right, they lie to
You
us.
keep lying to me.
Right. Like okay, so I'm a dick. I was wrong. So you can go back and rewatch M. Night Shyamalan movies because there are clues all the way
The
through.
good one.
Minus some of them. But
Yes.
like the good ones, yeah. But like with this, the more you watch it, the more it doesn't make any sense.
It just makes you angry.
It's just confusing.
You're
and
just like, you lied to me, movie.
It is. It feels like we're in a bad relationship. And we just keep getting lied to.
And we're following a very unreliable narrator, which is a movie term for somebody who's going to tell you things that you find out aren't true.
And like, I don't know. I keep coming back to this. Like, maybe we're just not smart enough. Like,
I don't think so. I think this was...
maybe there's something that we've missed.
Alexandra Aja had made, I think, a film before this. This was like his second film.
Mm-hmm.
And he just had more ideas in his head than he had a plot.
Now, he will go on to make a fucking killer movie after this.
And same with M. Night Shyamalan. I believe that it's the people around you that keep you on track and give you the ideas to make a great film.
Right.
It's not one person.
Right. No man is an island.
When M. Night Shyamalan went off without those people, I think that's when his film
That's
suffered.
when he made Lady in the Water.
Or the Avatar movie.
Oh, that was terrible.
But when you have the people around you giving you good advice and letting you do the things that you really like and keeping you from doing the things that just don't work so well.
Right, like reining you in. The same thing happened with like George Lucas and all the Star Wars films. Like he had people with the original films pulling him back and saying no, and then whenever he didn't have people telling him no, we got fucking Jar Jar Binks. But whenever they sold it to Disney, we got all these amazing films again.
So, if you think about Alexander Aja as wanting to do something cool, like he wanted to check the box on certain things.
He definitely did something visually cool.
Yeah, he wanted to have...
It's a pretty film.
He wanted to have a man's head smashed by a bookcase.
He did
got
it.
He wanted to
fucking did it.
have a guy stab with an axe, like take an axe
In
to
the
the chest,
tummy.
and then have somebody step down on that guy and have blood come out. He got it.
He did.
But when it came to like building the plot of the movie, he took shortcuts rather than trying to, go back and think through the movie. He just wanted to tell the plot.
It was style
I think
over
that's how it goes.
substance.
Does it mean it's a bad film? No.
No.
It
It's
just means
confusing
that
as fuck.
it just don't try to read too much out of it.
No, if you want to watch something that's just going to make you go, huh, but I mean, it's entertaining while you're watching it,
Mhm.
That's fine. But, like, there's a gigantic plot hole in the fact that these things are not possible.
No.
And, again, like, maybe it just requires a suspension of disbelief, I guess.
Oh, there's another similarity to an M. Night Shyamalan film coming up, and we'll get to it. She finished her masturbating.
Yes.
It comes to a gigantic climax. And at the same moment, the killer gets out of the truck and goes up to the door and starts ringing the doorbell.
It seemed like it took her an incredibly long time to rub one out, didn't it?
How long does it typically take you?
Not that long.
It doesn't take me very long either.
Yeah, you know your stuff. You get it done.
Did it seem like a long time, though?
Yeah. It did. We saw a lot of writhing. We saw a lot of belly button ring.
A lot of feet.
A lot of feet.
Got feet twisting. There's another case of like
Yeah, you're
the
right.
feet. You use the feet to like curl and ooh.
What's happening?
So anyway, so the killer starts ringing the doorbell.
Yes.
The dad wakes up and goes to investigate.
Well, Marie also wakes up and goes to the top of the stairs and watches this exchange.
He goes to the door. He opens it. Marie is upstairs and she looks out the window to see the killer. He raises something above his head. I didn't even see what it was. Did you see what he raised?
It's like a knife.
But he brings it down, and you see the dad stagger back, and he's bloody, and he tries to go up the stairs to get help. Mom doesn't hear any of this. She's still sleeping. But
Alex doesn't hear any of it. She's got her head or
she's got her
earplugs
earphone
in.
Yep, she's got her earbuds in.
Tom hears it.
Tom.
The little boy.
You think he hears it?
Yeah, because after the the dresser incident. Well, I guess he hears that.
Yeah, I think everybody heard that.
Yeah. Except Alex.
But the dad's struggling up the stairs. The killer comes up, grabs his head, sticks it through the
railing of the
railings,
stairs.
and then he puts his foot down to make sure that he's nice and wedged in there.
I really thought he was going to curb stomp him. I got full flashback to American History X, and I was like, no, 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 no.
He does one better. He sets his head. Well, here's a couple problems with this. He puts his head on those rungs, right? What if he had chosen a step up? The bookcase would have been too short, and it would have completely missed his head.
Maybe he's just real, real good at geometry.
If the dad had the wherewithal to lift up a little bit, the bookcase would have been too short.
I think maybe that's why he stunned him before he did it.
This is one of those like perfect case scenarios where it had to be perfectly positioned and timed to work out.
Right, like a lot of stars had to align for all of this to have worked.
Also, this killer in this movie is methodical to like a fault.
Oh my god. So much so that it gets boring.
Yeah, so he sticks the dad's head in the railing. He grabs a bookcase and he like rushes the bookcase into the dad's head, crunching it against the wall,
Crushing his head.
and just popping it off like a cherry. Just
I don't think that's how
it did, because
works.
when they came downstairs, his head was just off.
I know, but I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah,
So the mom wakes up because she hears something.
and Alex or Marie knows what's going on. She starts cleaning up her room.
At first, she sees
There's a
phone
phone
in
line,
her
yeah.
room. She sees a phone line, but the phone's not connected to
Her
it.
room is up she's
on
on
the
the
third
third floor. Which I'm guessing is like a converted attic.
It's got a lot of dolls and creepy bears in it.
Yeah, and one like clapping monkey,
Yeah.
clapping bear.
Yes.
But she's trying to figure out where to plug in a phone that's in her room, and she sees that the cord runs behind a dresser, and so she's scooting the dresser out, but she knows she doesn't have enough time. So instead, she has enough time to make the bed, gather her stuff, clean out the sink, take her stuff out of the medicine cabinet, and then hide in the room.
Yes.
The killer, who...
The idea is he's going to come check the room, and because it's a guest room, if he sees that it's neat, that there's nobody in it, then he'll just leave. He won't know that there was another person in there at all.
Would you have thought to do any of this?
Nope.
Would you
Nope.
I might have hidden under the bed.
I would have hid naked in a corner.
You have done that before. I don't know if we told that story.
I don't think we should
But
right
we're
now.
running out of time, so we'll keep going.
That's exactly what I would have done.
To have the wherewithal when somebody's head gets broken off by a bookcase.
That is pure survivor instinct.
So we always think of it as fight or flight, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's not. There's three. There's fight, flight, or freeze. And a lot of people freeze.
I'm a freeze.
It's a bit
It's a lot.
of a reach,
It's a lot.
is
but-
what I'm saying.
But maybe she's got it. Maybe she's got that instinct.
Which you're thinking as she does it, like, maybe this is ridiculous. Maybe she doesn't need to be doing this. And then the killer comes in.
When she starts putting her stuff in her bag, she grabs like her Walkman and her shoes and her clothes, and she just puts it all in this bag. And I'm like, is this bitch running? Like, is she? And I've seen this movie before. I just forgot what happened. I was like, is she running away? Like, she's gonna leave all these people in this house? And why is she packing her Walkman of all things? Like, I was upset with her for being silly. But then I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like, that's the perfect thing to do.
If anything, this should be a training video on
But,
what
like,
to do.
also, how did she know that he was going to be that methodical?
Right.
How did she know those things?
And why was he that methodical?
And you know how she knew? Who knows how she knows these things? Because that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot to...
I'm going to stick with the theory that her parents are preppers.
I just don't know. I don't know how big the prepper movement was in the 90s in France.
In France, right? So she finishes doing all this stuff, which she has a lot of time to do.
Yeah, she does.
The guy is coming up the stairs.
Right.
And by the time he reaches the top of the stairs...
And she's scurrying around
and
in
enters
an
her
old
room.
house.
Yeah, squeaky, 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 squeaky. Squeaky.
Squeaky,
Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky.
Squeak,
By the
squeaking,
time-
squeak, squeak.
By the time she enters it, yeah, that by the way was for the squirrels listening. By the time he enters her room, she's had enough time to do all of this.
Right.
She probably could have written a sonnet before he came in that room.
No, that's too much.
So the first thing he does is one thing she didn't think about. He puts his hand on the radiator. And I was like, oh, you're fucking genius.
But it's the middle of the fucking summer. Why would the radiator be hot?
I didn't think about it. Well, maybe the nights are cold.
It's a dumbass.
Look, we come from Texas, where it stays hot all the time. But when we went to
That's not true. We
Ohio,
have seasons.
when we went to Ohio, we learned that even in the summer, it gets cold at night.
Yes, and I had to borrow a jacket.
We
Your
had
aunt
no
laughed
clue.
at me.
So even if it's summertime here, it could still be cold at night.
I mean, we live in Jersey, and sometimes in the summer it's got a chill, but not like radiator levels of chill.
It was radiator levels of chill in Ohio, though.
I mean, for us, because we're weenies.
What is France like?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Take me.
This has all been a ploy.
This is a commercial for our upcoming family vacation.
So he checks the radiator. He checks all the other stuff. He dips his finger into the sink.
He pushes his
Keeping in
finger
mind,
up into the faucet.
This is the goddamn guest room.
Yeah.
And there are people still in this house.
Right, he passed all the people to come up to the guest room first.
And now he's going to go, like, there are people still sleeping that he should probably be off killing.
Right.
But he's wasting
Do
his time.
your damn job, man.
He's wasting his time. This is like him grabbing his phone in the middle of a fucking killing. This is him just wasting time
Playing Bubble Buster.
in a room that there's no guarantee there's anybody in.
Do you remember Bubble Buster?
I do remember Bubble Buster.
Oh, my game.
Pop the bubble. There's no guarantee there's somebody in this room, and there are people still sleeping in other rooms.
Right.
So
There's plenty to do.
He checks everywhere. He even lifts the bed, and there's nobody
Well, he
under it.
lifts half of it.
Right. He lifts the half that she's been able to pull her feet up from.
Right. Because she's very agile. Which, I mean, she is.
And sees there's nobody in the room. He even leaves the room, pauses at the door, and listens.
Right.
Just to hear if she's going to give herself away. Then he goes on to Marie's room. Now,
No.
did you think...
he handles the mom first.
Yes, but she's not dead.
And it is at this point that I realize that our sweet little baby Tom is going to die. And it's just like, fuck. Fucking hate it, man. Do we have to do dead little kids in movies? I mean, do we have to?
Again, another allusion to M. Night Shyamalan. He only threw a scene of a kid getting killed into The Happening to get an R rating.
Fuck him, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. Of all the shitty, horrible things that happen in the world, the one thing I could live without for the rest of my life is seeing dead babies. If we could just fucking not, I would really appreciate it. And then if we just must kill them gratuitously in movies, if we could not make them darling. Please.
Like ugly babies?
If we could just make them like shitty kids, maybe.
Yeah.
But not shitty kids like they have shitty parents.
Like the bullies from It. They had it coming.
Something like that. But like, you know, not sweet little boys dressed up like cowboys. Please.
So back to where the killer is. The killer
Yes.
goes into Marie's room. Was he raping her or was he just tying her up?
I don't know. I think maybe he was just tying her up.
He ties her up with chain and he puts a hose, like a rubber hose in her mouth.
Yeah.
None of the things he was carrying on him.
Right.
He did not have pockets deep enough for that chain. He did not have pockets deep enough.
I mean, no, he was wearing coveralls. He may have had all that on him. Who knows?
The chain? A lot of
I
chain.
don't know.
So he had to have gone
None of
back.
this is possible.
He had to have gone back out to his car to get that stuff. Anyway, while he's doing this, Marie runs out of the room. She tiptoes downstairs, and she sneaks into the parents' bedroom to try to get the phone. Hears somebody coming, goes hides in the closet. The mother drags herself in because she's dying,
Right.
grabs the phone out of the secret place that she knew where it was.
Well, it was just on a desk.
Yeah, behind a book or something. And starts to call 911, but the killer comes in. And he slices her throat open in front of Marie, who's hiding in the closet.
Mhm.
Blood spurts all over the closet. And then he goes to work, like, really sawing into her face or sawing into her neck.
He saws her hand off.
And her hand off, yeah. Which, again, I don't think he could have done with that little razor. because he has like a straight razor.
Right.
Just
No,
like
there's
one of
like
those flip open
bone in
straight
there.
razor.
There's a lot of stuff you gotta
That's
get
not
through.
going to get through the bone.
Just so you know, if you're gonna cut anyone's hand off, you need something more substantial than a straight razor.
Yeah. So he leaves. She comes out and sees it, and we get a jump scare because Marie like leans over to say she's sorry to the mom, and the mom comes back to life for a second, just long enough to scare her.
Right.
And then the
She
scene's
dies.
over.
So then Marie goes into Alex's room. She
Sees that
finds
she's all
her.
tied up,
She
tries to help her.
And then she hears something outside. She hears Tom calling for his mom. So Marie looks out the window, watches Tom run into the cornfield calling for his mom, and then watches
The killer
walk after him
With
with
a
a
shotgun.
shotgun, and shoots Tom.
Yeah, we see a flash of light over the top of the cornfield. And that's all you see.
Right.
Then
It
she
is
runs
arguably
downstairs.
the least brutal killing in the whole film.
I actually, from the first time we watched this, I thought it was like more gratuitous, but it wasn't. However,
Thank God.
we go downstairs. Marie's trying to escape. The killer drags Alex to his truck,
Right.
and then Marie is kind of following the killer
She
around.
grabs a knife out of
The kitchen.
Yeah, and some sort of like makeshift brass knuckles, it looks like. She had something on her hand, like she had balled up her fist and she had something on her hand.
And she runs and gets in the back of the truck too.
Right. Her intent was to either free Alex or kill the
Right. And she
murderer.
does, because she tries to free Alex, she can't. And then she stands at the door with the knife over her face, like over her head, like she's going to bring it down on the killer in probably not the best stance.
Right. That's not really how you kill people. With
But the killer just slides the door shut before she can do it.
Right.
Gets in the car and they start driving off. So she's just kind of hiding. As we're driving off through the cornfield, the camera pans over the top of the cornfield, and then it just gives you a glimpse of the kid dead in the field.
We forgot something. So before he leaves, before he shuts the door, he goes inside and is looking at family pictures on the mantle.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He picks up one of the whole family, recognizes Alex in one of them, breaks the glass out of it, and then cuts her face out of the picture and takes it with him.
We see why
then
later.
He gets in the truck.
In the truck, he's got on the visor, he's got like trophies, little pictures of everybody that he's killed.
Which also doesn't lend itself to the idea.
To the twist at the end.
Right.
A lot of backstory for somebody who's...
Yes. Unless it's all being hallucinated.
They get to a gas station, and...
He's drinking and driving the whole way there.
Yes.
It's unsafe.
In a very nice move. He offers some to his passenger.
He poured it on her and then threatened to light her on fire.
I mean, what's he gonna have? Where's the cup that he's gonna hand to her?
Oh my God.
Through the cage.
Ugh.
He was being very nice.
No!
Very considerate.
He murdered her whole family and kidnapped her.
He then offered to light her cigarette.
She didn't have a cigarette.
I mean, that wasn't his fault. She's not a smoker.
This is weird. I don't like this.
What I mean is he threatened her with a match that he was going to drop onto her alcohol-covered body.
Thank you.
And then laughed about it.
It was the funniest fucking knock-knock joke he'd ever heard.
At the gas station, she runs inside and asks for help.
Marie
does. She can't get... No, Marie is in the car. No, Alex in the car. Alex can't get free. Marie runs inside the gas station and asks for help.
She leaves the knife with Alex and says it's in case she doesn't make it back. Then Marie runs inside the gas station, again, barefooted.
Oh, we got a mirror trope and a swing set trope at the house. I saw it in my notes, forgot to mention
Let's
it.
just go through all the tropes at the end. I mean, there's a second mirror trope also in the gas station.
Yeah, but nothing comes out of that one.
No, but something does. Because she looks in the mirror. When she comes up, it does the scary music, and it's her because she's the monster.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Ashley's thinking. So Marie runs into the gas station. She runs in. She tells the attendant, "You have to call 911, call the police."
Yes.
And then she sees
The killer's coming, so she goes and hides.
right.
The killer comes in and says, "How's it going, Jimmy?"
Right. Oh fuck! That scared me to death.
My phone just went off.
It scared me to death.
We're
We're too into it.
Because I looked to see if he had a name tag, and I couldn't see one.
I think it's a regular stop for him.
So you think he knows Jimmy?
The guy's local. He knows everybody around there.
That lends itself to the idea that he wouldn't just casually kill this guy this night.
I don't know.
They have a conversation where Jimmy seems very
Leery
of him.
Well, because Marie has just run in, obviously distraught and freaked out, and she's telling him to call the police.
He reaches for a gun that's under the counter. Jimmy does. And before he pulls it out, the killer says, "Can I get a bottle of something? Some kind of alcohol?"
Some kind of alcohol.
And Jimmy decides that, "Oh, yeah, I could do that for you."
It's like, dude, you're about to get a gun. Like, what are you thinking?
So instead of the gun, now you're just going to come out from around the
just like
counter. And
leave the thing that makes you safe, and then you're fine.
So, not surprisingly, gets an axe to the chest.
Yes, he does.
He falls down, and the killer steps on him, and blood gushes out. Kind of a
It's
cool
pretty
scene.
gross.
It's a little imaginative, like especially knowing what he does next. The movie that Alexandra Audra does next.
Right.
Like this was that imagination at work.
Yes.
Um,
This was definitely his training ground, I would say.
She runs to the bathroom.
Downstairs.
He does that same methodical bullshit where he goes down to the women's
In
restroom.
the middle of the night and checks all the stalls.
He kicks
in
in
the
all the
bathroom.
stalls,
Just the women's restroom, though.
not the men's.
Doesn't make any
He
sense.
just goes in the men's and checks himself in the mirror.
Well, he pees.
So this is where she's hiding, and he leaves. She comes out. She looks in the mirror, and it does do the mirror trope again that it also did in the house.
We'll talk about tropes at the end, though.
Then she finds the keys for a car, and the gun from behind the counter, and she chases after him.
In a very conspicuous fucking yellow GT. Mustang GT.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had muscle cars in France, like American muscle cars.
I thought they all drove that car from Mr. Bean.
A Mini.
And scooters.
Bicycles.
The scooter.
We can't do that. That's terrible.
They chase each other for a very long time. Very long time. It gets ridiculous. And then at some point, he finally gets behind her,
Right.
rams her, pushes her off off the road, and she flips over. She drags herself out into a greenhouse where she makes a bat.
By pulling up a stick from the ground and rolling up some barbed wire that was attached to
Which
it.
made me think, why do they have a barbed wire fence inside of a greenhouse?
Rabbits.
And you said rabbits.
Rabbits are evil little shits.
So
They will eat all of your stuff.
use barbed wire to keep them out.
Yep. What else would you use?
So she takes this bat and she starts stalking him. He's looking for her with a flashlight. She's stalking after him. And then she realizes that the flashlight is really just on a string spinning around. He's now behind her.
Right. He grabs her from behind,
He
wraps her in plastic from the greenhouse.
Starts suffocating her, which again doesn't make any sense when you find out the twist. They struggle. She gets the better of him.
At some point, he puts his fingers in her mouth, which you know I hate. I can't keep
Which
fingers
again,
out people's
with the
mouth.
twist, is she putting her own fingers in her mouth?
I don't know.
She smashes his head in, gets him a good whacking with the bat, then suffocates him. And then she goes back to save Marie, who's in the car.
Right.
Marie now is very freaked out by her. She even threatens her with the knife once she frees her.
So meanwhile, back on the ranch,
Meanwhile, back at the motel.
at the gas station. Because, oh, we forgot to tell you, while she was there, before she left in the car, Marie called the police, but she couldn't describe to them where she was or the license plate number of the truck.
Yeah, so she just gives up. She doesn't say, hey, hang on a second, I'm going to go check outside.
Right.
She just gives
starts
up.
Screaming at them and gives up.
Well, I
So-
guess you're no use to me anyway.
So we're back at the convenience store, and the cops have shown up, and they're looking at stuff, and they find the dead clerk, and they fucking
Check the
find
video.
the security footage. And here's where we find out, and this is a spoiler alert, that Marie is the fucking murderer, because we watch her axe the attendant in the symptom.
Jimmy gets it.
And then she stands there with her head back.
And looks at the camera.
Yeah. It's really strange. But that's when we find out. Now we know. She's him and he is her, and it doesn't make any fucking sense.
So let's go back and think about this. While they're in the car, he was getting head from a decapitated head, but he's really her. So how the fuck is that possible?
I don't know.
Where did the car come from?
I couldn't even tell you. So it's morning now. Marie opens the back doors of the truck and releases Alex. Alex is freaking out, telling her to get away from her. She's hitting her. And Marie is just like smiling, and she's like, what's wrong? I saved you. I just saved you.
Then she stabs her in the chest. Alex stabs Marie in the chest. And it goes from a shot of Marie, and the next time you see it, it's the killer. Because now she's just flipping back and forth, and we can see that she's
Right.
flipping.
So do you think that maybe like she just hallucinated all of her parts in all of this?
So here's based on what we know from United States of Terra. If you're
So all of our knowledge comes from TV shows.
if you have multiple personality, it's kind of like you go away for a while.
Right.
So this doesn't make a lot of sense as a multiple personality scenario.
No.
If you're schizophrenic, it's like people talk to you. So it's just voices in your head. So that doesn't make any sense here either.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this? Is this like a supernatural thing?
So I don't know. How does it end? Take us home, Big Daddy.
This is somebody who's seen a lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted a Texas Chainsaw Massacre-esque scene where a leatherhead will chase somebody with a chainsaw.
Right.
But you don't want to do it with the chainsaw because that's already been done. So the next best thing is a concrete saw. It's one of those gigantic portable
Ooh, they're really scary looking.
saw blade on a thing, and you can just run out with it. So he's chasing her with this, and Marie is the one that runs up to a car. No, Alex is the one that runs up to a car. God damn it. Alex is the one that runs up to a car. She screams for help. The guy wants to help her. She jumps in the back of his car. He's trying to get the car going, but Marie / the killer jumps up on the hood and kills him with the
Concrete saw.
concrete saw.
Where did he get that, by the way?
It's in the back of the truck.
Okay.
Everything she / needed was in the back of that truck,
True.
which I don't understand.
Because the truck was empty when we looked at it.
Question.
Answer.
If the truck is real, if it's a real truck, it's not an imagination truck, were they towing the truck behind them when they drove up to the house?
No, absolutely not.
Was the truck already at the house?
And where would she have gotten a concrete saw to put in it?
Why was it set up for murdering? I don't understand what happened.
I don't know. Okay, so keep going. What happens?
She tries to kill Marie.
Mm-hmm.
Marie escapes by breaking a window and jumping out. But she does a terrible, terrible job of it. Gets a piece of glass stuck in her ankle.
Ugh.
So she's dragging herself along on the road.
Yes.
And she has a crowbar that she pulled out of the car's tool chest. Marie's standing over Alex, telling her to tell her that she loves her. And then Alex does.
Yeah, right.
Alex tells her that she loves her. Marie is super excited, drops the saw, and like starts hugging, kissing her. And then Alex stuffs the crowbar through her chest and out the other side.
Yes.
Then we wake up in the psychiatric hospital,
Right.
where Alex is in the room talking about how they'll never be apart. and Marie is on the other side of the glass. Nope, I got it wrong again. Marie is in the room. Alex is outside. Alex says to the camera guy, or says off camera, she says, "You're sure she can't see me, right?" And almost on cue, Alex in the Marie in the room says, looks at the camera and like holds out her hands for a hug.
Right.
End credits.
Yes.
New thing we're gonna try here.
Okay.
Horror films make a lot of money,
Okay.
and it's relatively cheap to make a horror film, comparatively
All you need is goop.
to like an action film or a big budget Hollywood, like a Marvel movie. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to actually look at how much money the movie cost compared to how much money it made.
Okay.
So would you like to guess how much it cost to make this movie?
In francs or US dollars?
We'll make it US dollars.
Okay, thank goodness, because I don't even think they use the franc anymore. I'm gonna wager a guess at 30,000.
2.5 million
I was so close. I was
is
really
what it
close.
cost to make this film.
It was really close.
Which, now that I'm thinking about it, there's 6 people in the film. I guess the car would be expensive. Like, they crash a car.
I don't know.
There's a couple big budget pieces. How much do you think it made? Keeping in mind that this was a French movie that got released in America.
Yeah.
Like, that's big.
I'm gonna go 1 million. It made.
Made 6.8 million.
Oh,
So while not really a success, wasn't a failure.
right.
Probably pretty close to broke even.
Well, congratulations, High Tension. You broke even.
Which explains why he got the next job he got, which was The Hills Have Eyes.
Which is really, really, really good.
So I've been thinking about a rating system,
Okay.
the 1 to 5s, and I think we should stop doing the 1 to 5s.
Okay.
I think we should do a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of thing.
Okay.
So
So if you're just joining us for the first time, this is the part of the show where we take everything that we've learned and experienced and jabbered on about for the past 45 years, and we condense it into an up or down vote-ish type thing.
is this film gory?
Sometimes.
I would say yes. This film definitely is gory. It's very heavily
Yeah,
gory.
I guess so. We got people's heads being crushed.
Like I said, this is a concept film. This is just the ideas he wanted to do, and a lot of them were just terribly graphic things.
Yeah.
Is this film scary?
No.
I mean, when you don't know the plot.
No. Because, like, you don't know walking in, but the first, like, you know.
I remember when we saw it in theaters, and the scene, especially like when he's trying to find her in the room, like it was tense.
It's tense. I think tense and
It
scary
had some
are
high
different things.
tension to it. Or is this film nightmare-inducing? Sorry.
No.
No, I don't think so. There's nothing in this film that would really haunt your dreams.
No. I mean, not ours. It might haunt you.
But is it a good film?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Our new rating system, it's fine.
This is fine. No, I think it's fine. It's not the best movie ever made. It's not the worst either.
There's a lot of high concept ideas in this.
And Aja gets a huge pass because what he goes on to do was so incredibly good. You kind of get the idea that he was sort of getting his sea legs with this film, and then he moved on and he fucking blew it out of the water.
Oh, and there's a Muse song in this film.
Yes, they're oddly placed
During
song.
the chase, when they're in the cars, they use a Muse song.
It's not car chase music, guys. It's just not.
They made the car chase last as long as the song.
Maybe they have like a contractual obligation to play the entire song.
There's that. Now, you may have noticed, if you listen to us, that there was a new theme at the very beginning.
Yes, we're so excited about it. It's so nice. Our friend Brandon Tuzio, who is a brilliant musician, he's amazing, incredibly talented. He made our intro and outro for us, and you can find any of his work on SoundCloud. You just search for Brandon Tuzio, and you'll find him, and just enjoy what he makes. It's really good.
And if you enjoy what we're doing, and you want to help us out, rate us and review us on iTunes.
Or wherever you listen to your podcast.
Connect with us on social media.
All at Scaredy Cat Pod.
And let us know what you think.
Yeah. we really appreciate all the listenership, and the listener interaction is really cool. Like, and we like talking to you guys and hearing your opinions about different movies. If you have maybe like a suggestion for a movie that you're super curious about, or one that you loved that you want to hear destroyed because we're awful people, or one that you hate that you want to hear us rave about how much we love it because we're awful people. Either way.
At Scaredy Cat Pod.
So that's it for this week. No kazoo. Maybe I'll get a slide whistle for next time.
Until next time, adios, muchachos.
Bye.